A millionaire woman laughed at in a karate class, then she took down a black belt in seconds. Late afternoon sun streamed through the high windows of Dragon's Way Martial Arts Academy in downtown Seattle, casting long shadows across the polished wooden floors where dozens of students had trained for years to master the ancient art of karate. The dojo's walls were adorned with certificates, tournament trophies, and photographs of students who had achieved various ranks, creating an atmosphere of tradition and earned respect that intimidated newcomers and inspired dedication in regular practitioners. Alina Carter stepped through the dojo's entrance at precisely 6 p.m. Her designer athletic wear and pristine white sneakers immediately marking her as an outsider in an environment where most students wore well-worn jias and bore the calluses and scars that came from years of intensive training. At 38, Alina was the founder and CEO of CyberVault Technologies, a cybersecurity company she had built from a small startup into a billion-dollar enterprise that protected some of the world's largest corporations from digital threats. Alina's decision to join the karate class wasn't motivated by a casual interest in fitness or a midlife desire to try something new. Instead, it represented her return to a world she'd abandoned 15 years earlier, when she chose to pursue business success over the martial arts career that had once defined her identity. Her presence at Dragon's Way was part of a carefully planned strategy to reconnect with aspects of herself that had been suppressed during her relentless climb to the top of the technology industry. What none of the other students knew was that Alina's quiet demeanor and business-appropriate appearance concealed a martial arts background that was both extensive and extraordinary. From ages 8 to 23, she had dedicated her life to mastering multiple fighting disciplines, earning black belts in karate, taekwondo, and jiu-jitsu while also training in boxing, Muay Thai, and mixed martial arts. Her skills had been honed not just in traditional dojos, but in underground fighting circuits where technique, strategy, and mental toughness determined survival. Alina's departure from the martial arts world had been abrupt and total. A serious injury during an underground tournament, combined with the realization that her fighting career offered limited financial security, had convinced her to redirect her competitive drive toward business ventures. She had used the same discipline, strategic thinking, and mental toughness that had made her a formidable fighter to build a technology empire that generated more wealth than any martial arts career could have provided. The transition from fighter to CEO had required Alina to suppress the aggressive, physically confident persona that had served her well in combat sports. The business world demanded different qualities: analytical thinking, diplomatic communication, and the ability to project authority through intellect rather than physical presence. Over the years, Alina had become so successful at presenting herself as a cerebral executive that even she sometimes forgot about the warrior who still existed beneath her corporate exterior. Alina's return to martial arts was motivated by a growing sense that she had lost touch with fundamental aspects of her identity. The stress and isolation of running a major corporation had left her feeling disconnected from the physical confidence and mental clarity that martial arts training had once provided. She hoped that returning to karate would help her rediscover the balance and focus that had been missing from her life since she had abandoned fighting to pursue business success. The evening class at Dragon's Way was led by Sensei Michael Rodriguez, a respected instructor who had spent 30 years teaching traditional karate while maintaining the discipline and respect that characterized authentic martial arts training. However, not all of his students shared his commitment to the philosophical foundations of martial arts. The class included several individuals who were more interested in projecting toughness and dominance than in genuine self-improvement or spiritual development. Among these students was 28-year-old Jake Morrison, a recently promoted black belt whose martial arts journey had been motivated more by ego than by genuine respect for the discipline. Jake worked as a personal trainer at an upscale gym and he used his martial arts credentials to enhance his image as a tough, masculine fitness expert who could help clients achieve both physical strength and personal confidence. Jake's approach to karate was fundamentally different from the traditional values that Sensei Rodriguez tried to instill in his students. While the sensei emphasized humility, respect, and continuous learning, Jake saw his black belt as proof of his superiority over lower-ranked students. He particularly enjoyed demonstrating his skills against newcomers, using sparring sessions as opportunities to showcase his dominance rather than to help others improve their techniques. When Elena entered the dojo for her first class, Jake's reaction was immediate and dismissive. Her expensive athletic wear, perfectly styled hair, and obvious unfamiliarity with dojo etiquette marked her as exactly the type of dilettante who occasionally wandered into martial arts classes seeking a trendy new fitness activity. From Jake's perspective, Elena represented everything he disliked about modern martial arts wealthy amateurs who treated serious training as a casual hobby. Elena's initial interactions with the class reinforced Jake's assumptions about her commitment and capabilities. When Sensei Rodriguez explained basic techniques and stances, Elena appeared to be learning everything for the first time, asking questions and making mistakes that suggested she had never practiced martial arts before. Her movements were tentative and awkward, lacking the fluid confidence that came from years of training. What Jake and the other students didn't recognize was that Elena was deliberately concealing her abilities while she assessed the dojo's culture and teaching methods. Her questions weren't the result of ignorance but of genuine curiosity about how different instructors approached fundamental techniques. Her apparent awkwardness was actually careful restraint, as she adjusted to teaching methods that were more traditional and less aggressive than the training she remembered from her fighting days. As the weeks passed, Elena continued to present herself as a dedicated but unremarkable beginner. She attended classes regularly, practiced diligently, and gradually improved in ways that seemed consistent with normal progression for someone starting martial arts training in their late 30s. Her steady but unspectacular development earned her acceptance from most students, who appreciated her work ethic and respectful attitude toward the training process. However, Jake's attitude toward Elena remained condescending and increasingly hostile. He seemed frustrated by her presence in the dojo, particularly because her obvious wealth and business success made her a constant reminder of worlds beyond martial arts where he would never achieve similar status. His interactions with Elena became increasingly aggressive, masked as helpful instruction but clearly intended to establish his dominance and highlight her supposed inadequacy. As a martial artist, the situation reached a boiling point during a sparring session 6 weeks after Elena had joined the class. Sensei Rodriguez had paired students of similar experience levels for controlled practice matches, but Jake convinced him to allow a demonstration bout between a black belt and a beginner to show newer students what they could aspire to achieve. With dedicated training, Jake's proposal was presented as an educational opportunity, but his real motivation was to humiliate Elena in front of the entire class. He had grown tired of her quiet confidence and wanted to demonstrate that all her business success meant nothing in the physical realm where he possessed superior skills and knowledge. He expected to dominate the sparring match easily, using it as a way to put Elena in what he considered her proper place within the dojo's hierarchy. Elena's acceptance of Jake's challenge surprised everyone in the class, including Sensei Rodriguez, who worried that the match would be too one-sided to provide any educational value. Elena had shown steady improvement during her weeks of training, but she was still officially a white belt with limited experience, while Jake was a black belt with years of competitive experience. The outcome seemed predetermined, and most students expected to witness a demonstration of Jake's superior technique rather than a genuine competition. As Elena and Jake faced each other on the training mat, the atmosphere in the dojo was charged with anticipation and concern. The other students formed a circle around them, some excited to see Jake's skills on display, others worried that Elena was about to be embarrassed or possibly injured. Sensei Rodriguez prepared to intervene quickly if the match became too one-sided or dangerous. Jake's confidence was absolute. He had trained for this moment throughout Elena's time at the dojo, studying her movements and identifying what he perceived as weaknesses in her technique and conditioning. He expected to end the match quickly with a decisive demonstration of superior skill that would establish his dominance and remind everyone of the vast gulf between genuine martial artists and wealthy amateurs playing at being fighters. Elena's demeanor as she prepared for the match was calm and focused, showing none of the nervousness or uncertainty that Jake expected from someone about to face a vastly superior opponent. Her breathing was controlled, her posture relaxed but ready, and her eyes held a steady concentration that seemed inconsistent with her beginner status. For the first time since she had joined the class, Elena allowed glimpses of the fighter she had once been to show through her carefully maintained facade. The moment before the match began was electric with possibility. Jake was confident in his ability to dominate. The other students expected to witness a one-sided demonstration, and Sensei Rodriguez was prepared to stop the action quickly to prevent any serious mismatch. None of them were prepared for what was about to unfold, a revelation that would shatter every assumption they had made about Elena Carter and force them to reconsider everything they thought they knew about hidden strength, authentic skill, and the true nature of martial arts mastery. The match began with Jake immediately attempting to assert his dominance through aggressive forward movement and powerful strikes designed to overwhelm Elena before she could establish any defensive rhythm. His strategy was to end the bout quickly with a demonstration of superior technique that would leave no doubt about the gulf between their respective skill levels. He launched a series of rapid punches and kicks that had been effective against other students and that he expected would easily penetrate Elena's supposedly amateur defenses. What happened next defied every expectation in the room. Elena's response to Jake's attack was not the panicked retreat or clumsy defensive posturing that everyone anticipated. Instead, she moved with fluid precision that seemed to violate the laws of physics, slipping Jake's strikes with minimal effort, while positioning herself for counterattacks that demonstrated a level of skill that was completely inconsistent with her white belt status. Elena's movements revealed 15 years of accumulated martial arts expertise that had been compressed into a few seconds of devastating efficiency. Her footwork was perfect, her timing flawless, and her technique so refined that it made Jake's aggressive assault look crude and amateurish by comparison. She didn't just defend against his attacks, she used his own momentum and aggression against him in ways that demonstrated mastery of principles that most students never fully understood. The takedown that ended the match was executed with such speed and precision that many students couldn't follow the sequence of movements that led to Jake finding himself flat on his back, staring up at Elena with a mixture of shock and confusion. She had used a combination of footwork, leverage, and timing that transformed his own attacking energy into the force that brought him down, demonstrating the kind of effortless technique that came only from years of intensive training and real combat experience. The silence that followed Jake's takedown was profound and uncomfortable. Everyone in the dojo was processing the implications of what they had just witnessed. A supposed beginner had just effortlessly dominated a black belt using techniques that were so advanced that most of them couldn't even understand how the reversal had been accomplished. The match had lasted less than 10 seconds, but it had completely altered the power dynamics within the dojo and forced everyone to reconsider their assumptions about Elena's background and capabilities. Jake's reaction was the most dramatic. His entire identity within the dojo had been built on his supposed superiority over other students, particularly newcomers and lower-ranked practitioners. Elena's demonstration had not only defeated him physically, but had revealed his own limitations. in ways that were impossible to ignore or rationalize away. The ease with which she had controlled and dominated him suggested that her skills were not just superior but existed at a completely different level from his own. Sensei Rodriguez was the first to recognize the implications of what had occurred. His 30 years of martial arts experience had taught him to recognize genuine mastery when he saw it, and Elena's brief demonstration had revealed technical skills and fighting instincts that could only have been developed through extensive training and real combat experience. Her movements had displayed the kind of efficiency and precision that characterized elite-level practitioners who had dedicated their lives to martial arts excellence. As the initial shock wore off, Elena began to reveal the story of her hidden martial arts background. She explained her 15-year journey through multiple fighting disciplines, her success in both traditional tournaments and underground fighting circuits, and her decision to abandon martial arts in favor of building a business empire. Her explanation helped the class understand how someone they had dismissed as a wealthy amateur had been able to demonstrate such extraordinary fighting skills. Elena's story revealed the complexity of identity and the ways that people could reinvent themselves while carrying hidden aspects of their previous lives. Her transformation from underground fighter to corporate CEO had required her to suppress and conceal abilities that had once defined her, creating a disconnect between her public persona and her authentic capabilities. The dojo had provided her with an opportunity to reconnect with that suppressed part of herself, while also serving as a reminder of skills that remained sharp despite years of disuse. The revelation of Elena's background forced everyone in the Costas class to examine their own assumptions about appearance, social status, and authentic ability. They had judged her based on her wealth and business success, assuming that those accomplishments made her soft or uncommitted to the physical and mental challenges that martial arts training required. Her demonstration proved that success in one area didn't preclude excellence in completely different disciplines, and that assumptions based on appearance or social status were often completely wrong. Jake's humiliation extended beyond the physical defeat he had experienced. His entire approach to martial arts, based on using his skills to dominate and intimidate others, had been revealed as fundamentally flawed when confronted with genuine mastery. Elena's effortless victory had demonstrated that true martial arts skill was about efficiency, technique, and mental discipline rather than aggression and the desire to prove superiority over others. Elena's integration back into serious martial arts training transformed the culture of the dojo. Her presence raised the level of instruction and practice, as Sensei Rodriguez adapted his teaching to accommodate a student whose skills exceeded those of most black belts. Her willingness to share knowledge and techniques from her extensive background benefited all the students, creating learning opportunities that wouldn't have existed otherwise. The changes Jake's behavior were the most dramatic and positive outcome of Elena's revelation. The shock of being so completely outclassed forced him to confront the inadequacies in his own training and attitude. Instead of continuing to use martial arts as a way to dominate others, he began approaching the discipline with genuine humility and a desire to learn. Elena's example showed him what authentic mastery looked like and inspired him to pursue excellence rather than just superiority over weaker opponents. Elena's return to martial arts also influenced her approach to business leadership. The physical confidence and mental clarity that intensive training provided enhanced her effectiveness as a CEO, helping her make better decisions and handle stress more effectively. The discipline and focus that martial arts required complemented the strategic thinking that had made her successful in business, creating synergies that improved her performance in both areas. The story of Elena's hidden martial arts mastery spread throughout Seattle's business and martial arts communities, inspiring discussions about the complexity of human identity and the dangers of making assumptions based on appearance or social status. Her example encouraged other successful professionals to pursue interests and activities that might seem inconsistent with their public personas, demonstrating that authentic fulfillment often required integrating different aspects of one's identity, rather than compartmentalizing them. Elena's experience at Dragon's Way also led her to establish a foundation that provided martial arts training for at-risk youth, using the discipline and confidence that fighting skills could provide to help young people develop the mental toughness needed to overcome challenging circumstances. Her programs emphasized the philosophical and character-building aspects of martial arts training, rather than just the physical techniques, helping participants develop the inner strength needed for success in all areas of life.
Thank you for watching this story unfold with us here on M&A The Story Unfolds. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new tale. We'd love to know where you're watching. Leave a comment below and tell us what part of the world you're joining us from. Your support means everything. See you in the next story.